With the release of the Signals update, we have gotten a bunch of brand new blocks, new features, and even some updates to pre-existing blocks. And you'll learn all about it right here. Now, starting off, we will have a look at the main attraction of the Signals update, known as the Action Relay. I will explore what this block does in a moment, but firstly, just have a look at how perfectly this thing is crafted, with wires leading up from it, different server racks along the side, and of course it does come in a neat and tidy little small grid package, with the two being able to work together across the different grid limits. Now, next up, we have the compact antenna, and I have to say, this thing is compact. With the regular antenna right next to it being 2 blocks wide and 6 blocks tall, this thing is only a single block wide and 3 blocks tall. It is safe to say you'll be able to fit this antenna on pretty much any large grid you make, without it necessarily looking too out of place. Moving on, we reach the broadcasting block, which is able to send chat messages in chat, and we'll explore this a little closer here in a moment. As we can see there, this one has a bit more of a strange shape, not actually looking to be a full block, even though it does have the collision of one, so might want to tuck this into a wall somewhere. It also comes in a small grid variant, which once again looks as stunning as to be expected of the brand new blocks. Moving on to the last of the free block editions, we have some new armor panels, both in the small grid and large grid department, in addition to being both light and heavy armor. So we have ourselves a rounded corner, and then another corner, just an inverted corner. And of course coming in the heavy armor variant as well. Now that is it for the free blocks, but there is a bunch more changes and updates that you get completely for free, which we will get to in a moment. But before that, we have to take a look at the Signals pack, which is absolutely jam-packed this time around. And we will start all the way at the back with some brand new windows. Now, these are called the bay windows, coming in both a large grid and small grid variant. I have to say, these look absolutely fantastic. With, of course, the tinting that is to be expected from these windows. We have a elongated one, a centerpiece, then we have what looks to be a end piece, and then, of course, a corner piece. And lastly, we have one that features a railing. Now, this one does not have a small grid variant, so do keep that in mind. Moving on, we reach the brand new console blocks, which also have both large and small grid variants. And here we start with the corner. This is... it is going to be so much fun making new command centers now. With all these blocks, so many customizable displays, and so much modularity to it as well. This is absolutely fantastic. And here we have a 3 display one, with of course a seat in addition, and then of course a small grid variant as well. Then we have one that actually features 3 buttons as well, so you'll be able to interact with it. And it's not just decorative as well. So that's really, really nice. And then lastly, we have one final variant that doesn't really have any interactables on it from the looks of it, nor does the small grid one. So this one is purely decorational. But other than that, most of these have at least some form of interactable, or actually no, the corner is also not interactable, so that is also purely cosmetic. But let's move on. Moving on, we have a brand new set of blocks, only for large grid this time, sorry small grid enjoyers, but these are the inset walls, coming in 6 different variants, where of course the main attraction is the inset wall, but even so, the exterior, or rather the backside and sides of these walls do have a pretty nice texture that I think a lot of builders will enjoy using. So we have a pretty bog standard one, then we have one with an inset light that is of course configurable. Then we have one with a pillar in the middle, ooh, and some lights and extra tubing compared to the tubing is the same, it's just that this one features lights. Ooh. Then we have a corner piece, just looking very, very nice with a little caution sticker on the side. And then we have an inverted corner piece. And lastly, we have a diagonal piece. All of these fitting together seamlessly. What does it say up there? Compressed oxygen. Ooh. Now, unfortunately, despite that sticker, this thing does not have any conveying, which is a bit of a shame, but understandable. Next up, we have the brand new corridors, which are similar to the passages. However, the main difference here is that they are, well, basically, they have walls wrapping all around, so they include a floor, whereas the passages don't. But either way, we have a fairly standard variant, which is looking very, very nice. We have one, ooh, actually a elongated light. That is looking pretty sweet. Then we, of course, have a corner section, looking as nice as always, and just look at the sides of this. Just the amount of detail put into it. You don't even have to just use the corridor as a corridor, but just the detailing on the sides is just, wow. It looks stunning. Either way, here we have the corner piece, which is looking absolutely fantastic. And of course, we have a T-junction as well, and then a four-way junction, all of which fitting together seamlessly. And now we go to get to some with windows. They have not skimped out on the variety this time because we are getting a lot of variety. So here we have a corridor with a single window. And here, ooh, we have one with two windows, one on either side. But that's not all. We also have one with a roof window. Ooh, fancy. In addition to that, we also get a narrow corridor variant, which is looking very nice, and you can see a little tease of the next blocks there. Then we also have a narrow stowage variant, which has actual storage in it, being able to hold 3,000 liters on standard world settings, and even coming with a little light that you can configure, which looks absolutely fantastic. And what's some of the things that we have here? It looks like some packs of some kind, some boxes. It is looking very, very nice. Now, to accompany these narrow corridors, we also get brand new doors, the narrow doors. Now, they are very, very narrow, but they're looking quite nice, both coming in a full block and a half block variant for you to use as you desire. But these look very, very nice. Lastly, we have the brand new truss blocks. Now, this one, can you guess which one's the large grid? It is, of course, this one, but it does have a small grid variant, which is exactly the same size as the large grid. And these look, wow. I think we got some brand new interior pillars to use. Though to be fair, they're not interior pillars, but either way. You also have a offset variant. Then you have a T-junction, which there unfortunately does not exist a T or a offset variant of. Then of course we have a four-way junction. And then we even have this corner type piece, which now that I look at it, is only for the offset, which is very interesting. Then of course we have the brand new truss light, which has a little light on top, as you can see, and comes in both a small grid and large grid form. And then, interestingly enough, we have the new truss decoy, which is looking quite stunning, to say the least. It looks like some radio equipment, but it is actually a brand new decoy. Now there are more things that are part of the free update, one of which being, ooh, what's that? 103 elite grinders stacked rather than being separated into one piece in each square? Yes, that is right, the previously non-stackable items such as tools and bottles are now stackable to help clean up those inventories of yours. In addition to that, when you destroy cargo, it no longer drops every single item individually, but instead drops this temporary cargo container, in which all items that previously were in the cargo are contained, and as you take them out, you can actually, oh, okay. You cannot put stuff back in, so you can only take it out, but that is definitely gonna help keep things clean when your cargo or storage eventually blows up. Now another quality of life feature is, as we can see here, when holding my grinder to a battery for instance, it says some components will be lost if removed, and it highlights the power cells, which is very fitting because you lose the power cells when you grind a battery. Now, I think this is only valid for the battery currently, but it might extend to different blocks in the future. But whilst we're speaking of the battery, they have also added some, I guess you could say, new info in the info panel, like for instance its charge efficiency, where we can see here 80%. Now it's a minor detail, but it's still a nice detail to have. In addition to that, we also have some new info in productive blocks, such as in the assembler, where we can see production speed and power efficiency, for instance, which is very nice. So now that is collected inside the assembler's info panel. Very nice. Now onto something completely different. Tree collisions have been updated as well. So in theory, when I ram this, yep, it is looking to be a lot more realistic than it was before, with now pretty accurate tree collision, instead of the vehicle just bouncing around. Now in addition to that, we've strapped a assault cannon onto this little quad to demonstrate. You can actually see a reload circle to indicate, in addition to the text down below, how long it'll take for the assault cannon to reload. That is also displayed down on the hotbar, as you can see right there. Now, one of the main features of this update is the brand new action relay. Now, I've set up two small little stations here just to demonstrate how this works in the most basic principle. So the action relay has a few different settings. You have the channel, and then you have the accept signal from. The channel has, of course, a wide range going from 1 to 100, and then accept signal from you can either have from just the owner of the blocks, the faction that the owner belongs to, or these blocks belong to, or everyone. So you can mix and match however you want. Now, in the tool bar, we also have a few interesting options. So if I place down a little button panel here and drag down the action relay, you can see that there are things like increase channel and decrease channel, but you also have set channel and send signal, and then of course adjusting who can receive or send this broadcast. Now I've put some of these up on a few button panels to demonstrate. So here we only have the set signal, but this thing is not configured to have the correct channel. So by going to this button, which sets the channel, we can see that now the channel, alright. So if I set the channel to 1 and then push this button, we can see that the channel has been automatically set to 100. So you can use buttons and different blocks to adjust the channels, meaning that you can create essentially a whole chain of these blocks spanning around the entire world should you desire it. But let's go ahead and set the channel to 10, and then if we press this button, it sends a signal to the action relay over there, and the fireworks gets launched. Now if we set this back to channel 100 and try again, it will not work. But if we then decide set channel and send signal, it sets the channel back to channel 10 and sends the signal. So you have a lot of different options and features with this block. Then we also have the broadcasting block, which has a lot of functionality packed into it as well. So here we can see that we have a broadcast target, which you can set to owner only, faction only, or everyone. Now this essentially, as it says, determines who receives the message. Then you also have the option to set whether or not you wanted to use an antenna, and this will of course mean that only the players in the cockpits can use this block. Next, you have a custom name that will be displayed before every single message. So if I put base 1 as the custom name, and then message 1 to be hello, then if we place down a button panel, like so, we should be able to then, on the broadcasting controller, drag that down, and we can then see that we can transmit message 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, or send a random message of the following messages, and send the GPS of where it currently is located. So if we, for example, decide to send message 1. So if we now decide to click this button, we can see that it says hello. If we change this to everyone, it'll still say hello. Now if we put up a second button panel and put send random message, we can see now that we have two messages. We have hello and goodbye, and as we spam this, we can see that it sends a random message out of the ones that is currently configured in the menu. Now with this new update, they have also redone the new game selection screen with brand new tabs, as well as a whole different menu layout and even a community content tab where you can find all the scenarios you want, and where you can then scroll through, find the one we want, and then the customization menu is even different, with all of the advanced options now being contained in a single menu. Here we also have to discuss the three new world options that we get: enable lightning damage, enable scrap drops, and enable temporary cargo containers. Now, enable lightning damage is normally turned off, whereas enable scrap drops and enable temporary cargo containers are turned on by default. One last thing I forgot to say: owners of Decorative Pack 3, rejoice, because you're getting 4 new blocks in this update. Now these are more additions to the scaffolding blocks, with there being featured a 4-way junction, a T-junction, and even 2 scaffolding panels. One, of course, being the normal square, and then one being the corner piece. Now the fact that they keep adding blocks to already released DLC is quite the nice touch, and now you'll have even more options when making your scaffolded masterpieces. And that is going to be it for the Signals update, and it's out right now, so go and download it. But with that, I think that's gonna be it. Sorry if I sounded a bit different today, my nose is clogged because I've been sick, but do expect more videos to come out focusing on these new blocks and the new features very, very soon. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.